Hello there and welcome along to the Children's Media Conference, Get Into Music and Radio. I'm Chris Jarvis, I'm going to talk about radio, and very soon Steve Wynn will be chatting about music. Well, yes, I'm on children's television. I have been for 30 years, but before that, I worked in radio, 5 years at LBC, and before that, Radio Orwell, in the days when local radio stations had children's programmes. But if you're looking for a foot in the door, there's a huge number and spectrum of stations now. It's never been so large. Here are the big players, obviously the BBC, Bauer, Global, Nation Broadcasting, they're all thriving. And on top of that, you have local and community stations as well. As an entry point, I would really recommend student radio and hospital radio. Both are brilliant at training. Check out podcast radio, where podcast and traditional radio comes together. But for children, and I'm really interested in that now, children's radio comes in the form of CBeebies Radio. And the other big player is Fun Kids, who now have 3 big streams, one for classical music, one for toddlers, as well as Fun Kids Live. And they have a big presence on YouTube and online too. In terms of jobs, well, as you can imagine, writers, producers, the list is endless. Editors, journalists, there's a whole lot of jobs in the radio, or there's a whole lot of work that goes into radio. But quite often you walk into a radio station and there's only one person there because you have to be all those things. In terms of preparation, okay, here are my top tips. First of all, be unique. Just like radio and television and everything, uniqueness is paramount. Theatre, whatever you're doing. And focus on radio's USPs, because there are so many. It's intimate. You can have the radio on in the car. You don't tend to watch the television in the car. But you put your own spin on whatever you're doing. Make sure the title is eye-catching. And also research and review everything you're doing. Fact check. If it's a factual programme, fact check it and keep it legal. Here's a great book by Paul Hollins and Paul Chandler. There's another one by Linda Gage. Very, very useful, because obviously you want to keep it legal and correct, and all the things you have to do on social media and television apply to radio. The structure should be as clear as possible. Keep an eye on those durations. Make it easy on yourself as well as the listener. Script as much as you can. It's easier to edit the written word on a word processor than it is to edit audio at the end of the day. In terms of production now, when you're actually making the programme, think big. Think epic. There are no limits to radio. That's where it has the real advantage over television. The sets, the costumes, the makeup, everything is really, really cheap. You can go wild and have a lot of fun, but know when to stop, because you need to keep the clarity of what you're doing. You probably want to keep the storytelling linear, especially if it's drama. Listen to the Archers. They really know how to do it. Keep it clear, and don't get overwhelmed by the technology. Technology is amazing. Have fun. Go for it. Go for it with the technology. Use all those sound effects, but don't let it swamp and bog down what you're doing. Go For It, by the way, was a fantastic programme, much missed on Radio 4. I love making radio, but quite often I'm making radio for love. So watch that. You can find yourself working quite often for absolute peanuts. Good luck with it and have fun. And good luck with your future career in radio. Now over to Steve to talk about music.
Thanks, Chris. So music, it's so broad. We've only got 2.5 minutes. I'm not going to try and cover everything, but I'm going to do as much as I can in terms of all the different things that you can do in music. Most of them, maybe all of them you've heard of, but there's such a broad range of things. Obviously, composing music. You're someone that likes writing music, someone who thinks they could write theme music or incidental music, or whatever it might be. Obviously, huge amounts of opportunity there, and we're always looking for different composers. I run an independent TV company called Strawberry Blonde, and we regularly have composers that we've never used before. And we have lots of different people on our team, editors and engineers and sound designers and all sorts, that just because you haven't got a huge amount of experience doesn't mean we're not going to use you, because you're able to create it. And nowadays, Chris touched on the software. and platforms out there, you're able to sort of create your own thing and get it out there, and we can hear it, which is just a huge boon to have. And if you're not into sort of, if you're not a performer, if you're not a composer, you're not creative in that way, there are other avenues. You could be an agent or a plugger. Pluggers are people that come in and basically are trying to sort of get bands and groups, musicians onto different TV shows. You might be a great salesperson. That's a great way to get into music. And talking of sales, you might want to sell, there's lots of different libraries, music libraries, where you can be a salesperson and get your library onto different shows across any kind of media. You might want to source music if there's a particular program that needs something dramatic or something sort of sad or whatever it might be. That's literally what people do. They source music. And there are people on the legal side of things as well who clear music, who make sure that the different shows that we produce are copyright free, or they've been cleared for international sales. So there's literally there's so many different things, and it's okay to not know about all of them. But do your homework. Have a look at what roles are out there. On the end of TV programs, there are credits. It has everyone's name on it, and it has the job titles on there, and you can get a lot of information. It's literally on the end of every TV show. So go and have a look and see what jobs are out there. Make connections. Networking is so important. I was told at university, it's not what you know, it's who you know. 100 years later after me being at university, I know, don't be so kind. But it is about those connections, no matter how tenuous it is. Go onto someone's website and find out that they're from the Wirral, like I am. I know where the Wirral is. That's tenuous enough. Or I've got an S in my name. Something, anything that makes you stand out from the crowd, because this is a creative industry. You can be creative. It's okay to stand out a little bit more rather than sending an email saying, "Dear Sir, Madam," or spelling the name of the production company wrong or the record label wrong. You need to stand out. You need to be a bit different. I'm not saying go mad and send sweets through the post. I am a bit, because I quite enjoy those. But stand out. And why is it I'm going to reply to your email rather than the other 60 I've had that day? And you might not get it right first time. Go out there and try things. You might find that you think you're going to be a brilliant composer, and it turns out actually you're going to be a much better manager. I'm making that up, but you can fail. It's all right. You're young enough to be able to go out there and have a go at these things. And there's so many resources out there now. The internet is a wonderful thing. I think it's going to take off. So check out the internet, educate yourself. There are lots of different companies out there that can help. The BBC, Chris mentioned before, are huge in radio and in music, and they have trainee schemes as well. The Musicians Union has a huge amount of resources on the website, which will tell you more about the roles and also the rates of pay you get, which is obviously very important too. SoundCloud is a great platform if you're creative to get your music on there, or to get if you can mix whatever it might be. It's a free platform. You can get onto SoundCloud. It's one of the first places we go to find out what people are capable of. And the record labels as well, of course. I mean, there's 3 big ones there, but there are small ones, there are large ones. You can get in touch with them. They often don't put all of their jobs out there, but make that connection. So it is about that. It's about knowing what's out there, getting as much experience as you can. It might be just a day in a studio. It might be a day shadowing someone on a TV show. Try and get as much experience as you can. It doesn't matter how big or small it is. Chris mentioned hospital radio before. Anything like that, anything just looks good in your CV. It looks like you're passionate about it. It looks like you actually want to do it, and you've gone out there and used initiative to do it. Create. If you're a creator, create and go off and do it. If you haven't done it, I'm not going to be able to hear it. So you need to go out there and create stuff. No matter how good or bad it is, you'll have a huge portfolio of stuff by the time you've finished, and connect with people as well. It's really important that the names at the end of the shows, they're on the backs of records. You can find these people and connect with them. I've gone on way too long, but good luck. Listen, it's about passion, it's about perseverance, and there's a lot of resources out there, but it's up to you to go and do that. It will not be given to you, so it's up to you to go and stand out from the crowd, be passionate about it, and good luck.